The Lannisters are among the oldest and noblest houses of Westeros in George R. R. Martin and HBO's Game of Thrones franchise, playing a major role in both the books and the TV universe as an incredibly powerful political and militaristic force. While they're well known for their trademark golden hair, the Lannisters are just as well known for paying their debts, good or bad. Now that Game of Thrones has been expanded with House of the Dragon and the recent A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, there are more Lannisters to contend with than ever before. However, it's unlikely that either spin-off will introduce a Lannister as layered and complex as the ones who take center stage in Thrones' flagship show. These are the best Lannister characters who appear throughout HBO's growing Game of Thrones TV universe, ranked not by how good they are as people, nor their power, but by how well they're written and what they mean for the story. 13 Martin and Willem Lannister, played by Dean Charles Chapman and Timothy Gibbons in Game of Thrones. Martin and Willem Lannister appeared in only 2 episodes in Game of Thrones Season 3, but they definitely had an impact on the story. After being captured by Robb Stark's forces, the 2 Lannisters are held prisoner while Robb and his advisors debate trading them in return for Sansa and Arya. However, before a decision is reached, Robb's bannerman, Rickard Karstark, slays the 2 boys in their prison cells as vengeance for his own son's death. Robb, infuriated that his own liege lord would cruelly murder 2 innocent boys, executes Karstark. It's one of many mistakes Robb Stark made that led to the Red Wedding and cost him House Karstark's allegiance. Despite their impact on the story, Martin and Willem are sadly only relevant as dead bodies that jeopardize Robb Stark's rebellion, rather than as fully fleshed-out characters in their own right. 12 Jason Lannister, played by Jefferson Hall in House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon introduces 2 new Lannisters to the fray, and one of them might even be worse than Cersei Lannister. The arrogant, misogynistic Jason Lannister serves as Lord of Casterly Rock during the Dance of Dragons. He offers himself as a potential husband for Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, but she rejects him. This public rejection later comes back to haunt Rhaenyra when the Civil War breaks out, given the Lannisters' allegiance to the Greens, led by King Aegon and Alicent Hightower. Jason is largely a supporting figure in the war during House of the Dragon Season 2. When House of the Dragon last showed him on screen, he was preparing to face Daemon Targaryen's army in battle. A lot can be learned from the way a man leads an army, especially a Lannister, though his chances against Daemon and his dragon aren't great. He's the perfect example of everything wrong with the Lannisters and Westeros' power hierarchy, and that makes him an interesting if irritating character in the show. 11 Tyland Lannister, played by Jefferson Hall in House of the Dragon Image via Max. Tyland Lannister is the twin brother of Jason Lannister. As a member of King Viserys' small council, Tyland serves the Iron Throne as master of ships while his brother leads their house and army. Whereas Jason is reckless and arrogant, Tyland is the wiser of the two, warning the king about the Triarchy's trouble in the Stepstones. Informed of Viserys' dying wish for Aegon to succeed him on the throne, Tyland fully backs the Greens against Rhaenyra Targaryen, proposing an alliance with House Baratheon via marriage. During the war itself, Tyland secures the crown and an alliance with the Triarchy, proving himself time and again to be an incredibly smart and loyal Lannister. 10 Alton Lannister, played by Carl Davies in Game of Thrones. Poor Alton Lannister appeared only briefly in Game of Thrones before his untimely demise at the hands of his own family member. The cousin of Jaime, Cersei, and Tyrion, Alton works as a messenger between Robb Stark's army and the Iron Throne. After delivering the North's demands for Sansa and Arya's return, which Cersei rejects, Alton is placed in a cell alongside his cousin, Jaime. The 2 cousins share a bonding moment as Alton reminisces about squiring for Jaime, eventually leading Jaime to tell Alton he has a plan to help them both escape. Alton gets close to Jaime to hear it, allowing Jaime to beat him to death. Though the kinslaying haunts Jaime for the rest of the series, Alton's brief moment of character development still makes this death one of the worst things Jaime Lannister has done. 9 Kevan Lannister, played by Ian Gelder in Game of Thrones. Kevan Lannister might be the most uncomplicated member of the Lannister dynasty, introduced in the first and second seasons of Game of Thrones as Tywin Lannister's younger brother. He doesn't appear again until the 5th season, arriving at King's Landing after Tywin's death and being offered the small council position of Master of War by Cersei. He rejects the offer until he hears it from King Tommen. Kevan becomes an obstacle to Cersei's seizing of power throughout seasons 5 and 6, serving as Hand of the King after Cersei's imprisonment by the High Sparrow. He remains a loyal, wise, and dignified presence as an advisor to Tommen, even when the Faith of the Seven strips Jaime of his Kingsguard duties, until he dies in the September of Baelor explosion at the end of Season 6. 8 Myrcella Baratheon, played by Nell Tiger Free in Game of Thrones. In Game of Thrones Season 2, Cersei's daughter, Myrcella Baratheon, is forced to wed Trystane Martell to secure the Iron Throne's alliance with Dorne. She isn't seen again until season 5, when she's targeted by Ellaria Sand and Oberyn Martell's bastard daughters in a revenge plot against the Lannisters for Oberyn's death at the hands of the Mountain. Against all odds, however, Myrcella has actually fallen in love with Trystane, refusing to leave the dangerous situation she's in even after Jaime arrives to rescue her. Sadly, she is killed via poison and dies in Jaime's arms just after revealing she knows her true parentage. For a girl who seems like a naive fairy tale princess, Myrcella's death scene proves that she's a lot smarter than she gets credit for, and that truly innocent people never survive for long in Westeros.